Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining us for today's webinar, How to Use BU Alumni Association Career Tools. My name is Jeff Murphy, and I'm an Associate Director in the BU Alumni Relations Office, as well as a proud alumnus of the BU Questrom School of Business. Today's webinar is sponsored by the BU Alumni Association and is offered to our 300,000 alumni around the globe. It's important to us that we get your opinion on how we're doing, so we very much look forward to receiving your feedback via a survey, which many of you know we, due to a system error, actually sent out quite early this morning before the event took place. We're actually going to resend that to everybody after the webinar today. I know we have alumni who are joining us from cities all around the globe, so for all of you who are either very far away or just around the corner in Alston, please know that we really do value your opinion on this and every program that we offer. Some brief housekeeping notes. If, as you know by now, this webinar is being hosted on the Adobe Connect online meeting platform. If you experience any trouble with the audio or visual portions of today's presentation, I'm going to ask that you please contact Adobe Connect directly at their helpline. If you want to jot down this number, it's 1-800-422-3623. Today's presentation is being recorded and will soon be made available for on-demand viewing on the BU Alumni Association website, which you can find at www.bu.edu/alumni. I'm looking forward to taking any questions that you have today, and you're welcome to submit them throughout the presentation using the question and answer chat box you should see at the bottom of your screen. I'm going to run through some slides. We'll bounce around back and forth between those and our actual live website and some online tools. Depending on how this goes, I might take questions throughout, or we might just save them for the end. But let's go ahead and get started. Throughout your career, the BU Alumni Association is very committed to helping you define and achieve your professional goals. We aim to do this by providing alumni with access to a series of valuable online tools and social media communities. My goal today is to just give you a very brief introduction to all of these resources, and 90% of what I'm going to talk about today you can access right from our website that you see in front of you. It's bu.edu/alumni/careers. If you remember that, you will be good to go. So looking over my registration list for the event today, we've got a really good turnout of folks. And we have a really even spread of ages for people who are participating, with just as many guests who graduated from BU in the 1980s as guests who've graduated in the last 5 years. So what I'd like to do is actually will really help me to know who we've got in the meeting today. And so if you could answer for me which category best describes your current career status, just go ahead and select the circle for the best category. Maybe you're a new professional seeking advancement. Maybe you're a middle manager looking to sort of break on through to that next step in your career. Perhaps you're a really experienced professional who's considering a complete career change. Unfortunately, I know that we do have some alumni who are either unemployed or underemployed and who are actively seeking new work. Perhaps you're very happily employed at the job you have now, just want to stay sharp and competitive. Entirely possible that none of those fit you, and so far we don't have anybody who just likes free webinars, so that's a good start. So it looks like the majority of folks are, have been around for a while and are looking to make that next jump. Perhaps, obviously our number one right now is people who are completely considering a new career change. So I will definitely try to comment on that throughout my little discussion here about what we have to offer. So thank you for taking the time to weigh in with that poll. So our resources are best explained, I think, through these three categories. And you'll find that we lay out our career resources in just the same way on our website. We've got tools to help you prepare for your career and conduct a specific job search. We have tools and social media communities to help you build a really powerful Boston University network. And then we also have specific resources to help you find available positions that are posted on the open market. So diving in, for the tools to help you prepare yourself, the great news is that a lot of you are already aware of some of the things that we offer, and by the fact that you're participating in our webinar series today. This is one of the webinars that we do monthly. And we also have a great library that I'll show you in a second of all of our previously recorded sessions. We, over the next year, are going to be committed to doing 2 different types of webinars, and we'll do each of those every month. One series will just be sort of a very generic professional development webinar series, but then we're also going to get specific with something that we call industry insiders. We've taken a hard look at some of the industries that our alumni most work in around the globe, and we're going to be asking alumni experts to share some of their experience and expertise within those industries, and we do that through industry insiders. We'll show you the schedule in a second, but I did also want to highlight that the event that we've got coming up next month in February is going to be a really great webinar that I think for anybody who works in an office setting if you find yourself writing emails regularly, which I think we all do, we've got a really dynamic copywriter who's going to be sharing some tips in a session then. I'm going to show you something. We've got I think, a fairly interesting job shadowing series online that we do through Twitter called Terriers at Work. And so I will give you a look at that. I'm going to talk briefly about some of the resources that are available to all alumni through the BU Center for Career Development, some great counselors that we have on their team, workshops that you can attend, and then I'll also mention some of the school and college specific centers that we have. You'll notice that the last thing on my list here is BU Career Beam, and I've crossed that out because I want to make sure anybody who's accessed our tools before, maybe you participated in this webinar last year, we made a hard decision recently to discontinue one of the tools that we offered. We took a hard look at how alumni were using it and what they were getting out of it, and decided that we could put some of the resources we were spending on that tool towards some exciting things that I'm looking forward to telling you about a little bit later today. So let me do this. I want to show you on our website where you can get a look at some of these things that I just mentioned. So some of you might experience a delay while I pull up our website, but hopefully you can see it in front of you. So you've got a handy dandy menu on the right hand side that shows you how to access some of these things. And so the first thing you'll want to do is on the right hand side click Career Development Resources. This is where, again, we've laid them out nicely for you in terms of prepare yourself, networking, and finding a career or finding a job. So I talked a little bit about our professional development webinar series. You can jump right to that on the right hand side of your screen. We will list out the upcoming webinars. I apologize that we haven't yet gotten February's up here, but we'll have that very soon. But most importantly, this incredibly valuable library of on-demand webinars, which we've recorded, and you can watch from the comfort of your home or from wherever you are wherever you like. We've had some really popular topics over the last couple of years. I think our #1 viewed webinar is from a year ago. We had a really talented alumna present this session right here, Effective Communications for Women in Business, Navigating Your Top 3 Communication Traps. I believe we've had over 400 alumni who've accessed this webinar since we presented it in November of 2014. But definitely, in terms of somebody who's thinking about making a career change, if you are just, trying to figure out strategies to break through to that next step of your career, I think that you'll find something really worthwhile here in our on-demand library. We talked a little bit about Terriers at Work, and for those of you who have a Twitter account, and I would say particularly for those of you who are actively looking for a new job, I really would advise you to use social media as part of that search. Twitter, I think, can be a really powerful tool. What we've done here in the alumni office is to create this series that we've called Terriers at Work, and we've had over 50 alumni in the last year and a half or so who've participated. Basically, we ask them to take over this account for the day and tweet, spend time tweeting throughout the day about their role in their company, what it's like to work at their organization, in their position, how they got there, things that BU helped, prepare them for. So it's really just an online job shadow. One of the nice things, certainly by following this account, you can participate live and you'll know about all of them when they're happening. But we also, again, have sort of a library that I want to show you, and we've used Storify to archive all of our previous Terriers at Work sessions. So just by going to storify.com/Terriers at Work, all spelled out, you can see all of the alumni who've participated and the organizations that we've worked for. We've had alumni, somebody who was a producer for ESPN, somebody who works in data security at Facebook, an up-and-coming business here in Boston called Wayfair, which is an online home decor retailer. They're blowing up here in Boston, and we have a lot of alumni that work for that company. And so Caitlin was able to share a little bit about what it was like to work for them. Lastly, well, not lastly, but in this category, I also want to mention the BU Center for Career Development. You can visit their website at bu.edu/careers with an S on the end. And they've got some really great things that as an alum you have access to. First and foremost, you have the ability to meet with one of their trained and really great counselors. Now, there's a little bit of a catch to this in that it's free for alumni who are 2 years out of graduating, but then there's a very, very small fee. I believe it's $25 for alumni who've graduated 2 years or more in the timeline here. But that, I can assure you, is pennies on the dollar to what you would be forced to pay to hire a private career coach on the open market. And these are, again, counselors who really know a lot about the BU experience that you've all had and how you can best market that in a job search, or, if you're looking to get promoted, that sort of thing. We're going to talk a little bit more about the events and workshops that they also sponsor that as an alum you're often welcome to attend. And I also want to highlight quickly that many of the BU schools and colleges have either staff or a full-blown center to help you with your career. And so if you're an alum from the College of Communication, the College of Engineering, the Questrom School of Business, School of Medicine, School of Law, School of Hospitality Administration, or the School of Public Health, definitely check our website for links on how you can access some of the staff within your specific school and college. Obviously, in terms of career development, there are certain things that are very unique to your field of expertise. And so in addition to this central office, which again is open to everybody, they really are happy to help alumni to the best of their ability. You might find support within your specific school or college as well. So let's do this. At this point, in terms of preparing yourself for a career, or for making a career change, any questions? Again, feel free to use the Q&A chat box at the bottom of your screen if I can elaborate on anything that I just talked about. But in the meantime, I'm going to go back to my slide deck here. Great. Well, I'm not seeing anything coming up. I'll try to stop a couple times throughout my talk here in case anybody has anything. But again, whenever you've got a question about something that I've said, feel free to just go ahead and type it into that chat box. Secondly, one of the things that I think the BU Alumni Association can add the most value in your life and in your career and in your job search is by helping you build a strong Boston University network. We have a number of resources that I think will be helpful as you're proceeding through your career, and so I want to highlight many of those right now. First and foremost, the BU Alumni Networks, my office is working hard to make sure that we've got strong communities of Boston University alumni in cities throughout the globe. And so in a second, I'll show you a section on our website where you can sort of identify what alumni networks we have near where you live and ways that you can get connected to those folks. I want to make a really important mention here that your zip code is the most important piece of information that we can obtain to make sure that we're inviting you to events that are taking place and to get you connected to those folks that live near you. So if you haven't in many years gone to our website or updated your contact information, we might think that you live somewhere else. So you might be getting email invitations for us for things that happen in Boston, but you've been living in New York City for 5 years. We do our best to make sure that we're keeping track of updated contact information as much as we can, but please do help us with that. If you're noticing that you're getting invitations to events in cities that you don't live in, definitely go ahead and visit our website, and you can update your contact information right then and there. Another note about that, as you probably know, our top 3 cities for alumni are, of course, Boston, but then New York and Washington, D.C. are huge, huge places for us where we've got events happening all the time. You'll also find that we have really active volunteer networks in the California Bay Area, Los Angeles, Seattle, Chicago, Portland, Oregon, Dallas and Houston, Miami, and internationally we've got really thriving BU alumni networks that are just growing by the day, with networks thriving in China, the UK, India, the United Arab Emirates, Turkey, and others. I want to make mention, particularly for those of you who might be living internationally, a great thing to take part in that can help you get connected to your network is coming up in April. We'll have our annual Global Days of Service series where we're engaging alumni and doing volunteer projects that make a difference, again, around the world. And so keep an eye out for that. And you can go to our the website for that. It's just bu.edu/global days of service to get connected to a project near you. LinkedIn is incredibly important, and one of the things I talk about with alumni a lot is how many of you are on LinkedIn, but then how many of you actually know how to use it. And so I'm going to show you a couple things that I think make that social media community really, really valuable. So we'll get to that in a second. I'm going to show you our BU Career Advisory Network, which is, for lack of a better term, an online database of alumni who've raised their hands to make themselves available as career contacts for networking purposes. We talked a little bit about events, but I want to show you where to find our online calendar where you can see things that are coming up. I make note here that we've got a networking event taking place in a couple days in Hong Kong, and we have a ton of networking events both in the morning for breakfasts and in the evening for more of a social networking experience coming up in March. I'll show you a little bit about many of you don't know that we have a mobile app specifically for BU alumni and networking, powered by a company called Evertrue. And so I'll tell you a little bit more about that. And I'm also excited to let everybody know that in March we're going to be launching a series of online speed networking events. So again, let me go back to our website and show you where you can access some of these resources. So first and foremost, we talked a little bit about networking and how to do that on our website. The area I would direct you to, again, on our website is community, I believe. That might not be the right one, but we'll see when that pulls up. Sorry, I'm noticing I'm having a little bit of a lag time on my web browser right here, so bear with me. This would be a great time for my internet browser to stop working. Okay, here we go. So this is just our home landing page, bu.edu/alumni. And you'll notice right up at the top, you can see alumni near you. Click on that and you'll see this really amazing map. These are all of the cities and places around the world where we have defined alumni networks. And if you click on any of those, for example, I'm seeing that we have an alumni network in Mongolia. It's going to bring up a little bit of information about who you can contact, who the local ambassador might be, and just we'll give you an opportunity to connect with folks there. And then we also talked about events. Over on the left-hand side of the screen, you'll see on the directory there is a section on events. Tells you a little bit about the kinds of things that we do. We'll highlight the next couple things, but then most importantly, you'll see on the right-hand side, view calendar. This gives you an opportunity to see literally everything that we've got scheduled over the next couple weeks. You can sort by the area that you live in or the type of events that you're looking for. So definitely make sure that you're checking that out. LinkedIn, obviously we talked about this, hugely important. And so I want to make sure that if you are not already, that you join the Boston University Alumni Group on LinkedIn. We have nearly 34,000 members of people who've joined us in this online job sharing and knowledge sharing community. You'll note that I frequently make important updates about career-related items, but then we also just have alumni from all over the globe who are posting interesting questions. Jenny here has posted an article about the best way to prepare for a job interview. And then we also have alumni who post jobs. So up at the top of the screen, you'll notice that there's a conversations tab, but also by clicking on jobs, you can see that other alumni who are looking to hire BU Terriers have posted jobs here on this section. We also, from time to time in our office, will post some interesting things that we've seen on CareerLink, which is something that I'll tell you about in a few minutes. But please, 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 if you have a position in your area that is available, please take a minute to post it here on this discussion, excuse me, not discussion, but on the jobs section of the Boston University Alumni Group. One of the things that I love telling alumni about that most people have never heard of is the alumni search tool. And you can find this if you just go to linkedin.com/alumni. It will bring up the alumni search tool. Now it's going to default to the last educational institution that you have listed on your profile. And so for me in this case, I did get a master's degree at BU, and so it's pulled up Boston University. And if you look quickly, on the right-hand side, just a little bit of the way down, you can set the dates for alumni date range that you want to search from. So I've got this defaulted to basically selecting all alumni, but it's giving me 160,768 alumni who have Boston University listed in their profile. But what I love is that I can sort through these different criteria for identifying alumni that I might be interested in connecting with. And so the example that I use pretty regularly here is, okay, let's say I'm looking for a job at Fidelity here in Boston. I can click on the greater Boston area, and that's going to filter out just alumni who live in greater Boston. I've got 58,800. I can then click on Fidelity Investments and see that I've got 374 BU alumni working at Fidelity that I can probably connect with. It's first going to give me people that I'm already connected to, but then we'll just list out other alumni that I might not even know who work for the organization. And one of the other great things up at the top here, again, you'll notice that you can also filter alumni by what they do. But then if you notice that there's that little right arrow, if I click on that, it's going to bring over what they studied, what they're skilled at, and then perhaps most importantly, how I might be connected. So if I were looking for a job at Fidelity here in Boston, I can see that I've got 51 second-degree connections. That means there are 51 alumni who work at Fidelity who I'm connected to somebody that they know and can therefore ask for an introduction, which, as we all know, is just incredibly valuable. So I think this is a real game changer. The fact that you can browse through a library of BU alumni, see where they work, or on the other hand, browse through a list of companies that I'm interested in and find alumni that I might already have a connection to, super, super valuable. Along the same lines, we talked about the BU Career Advisory Network. You can access this, again, by going to the online community at our website at bu.edu/alumni. But what this is a homegrown database of alumni who, again, have raised their hand and said that they'd be willing to serve as a connection for somebody or share advice. So once you log in, and you'll need to prepare your login for the alumni online community, you can go and search for a career advisor. And again, you'll note that there's right now 5,851 active advisors participating in this network. I'm really excited to tell everybody that in February, we are going to be launching an enhanced version of this. We haven't been talking about this a lot recently. We haven't been recruiting a lot of alumni because, quite frankly, the database is a little bit old. We're going to be launching a much, much better interface for this experience. But again, with these alumni, you can search through the type of experience they have, the industry that they work in, what their role is in the organization. Certainly, you can search by organization name and the area that they live in. So here, again, let's use the example of I want to find alumni who work in Fidelity in Boston, Massachusetts. And as long as I don't spell this incorrectly, we should be able to go ahead and find how many, again, alumni who've raised their hand and said, yeah, go ahead and contact me. So in this situation, we've got 9 people who, I should mention, either currently work at Fidelity or have Fidelity listed somewhere in employment history. But these are all people who, this is a warm call as opposed to a cold call. The system will allow you to send that person a message so that you can connect with them and tell them more about what you're trying to accomplish, and again, ask them questions about the types of experiences that they've had. Similarly, one more tool that I think really useful for building your network is the Alumni app. And because that's a mobile application, and I don't have the ability to share with you what's happening on my phone or my iPad, I just want to show you a couple screenshots on my slides here. But by going to bu.edu/alumni/app, you can see, again, this BU Alumni app powered by Evertrue. So what we've done is, in using this app, it allows you to seek out alumni who work near you. So the shot on your right is a screenshot that I took of New York City. And in using the app, I was able to determine that there are, this is actually only showing you 97 of the nearly 17,000 alumni who live on the island or work on the island of Manhattan. So I want to make very, very clear, this is defaulting to alumni employer addresses and not home addresses. We're not interested in doing a big brother in that way. But this is a really, really great way to see alumni who maybe work near you. And New York obviously is one of our biggest alumni networks, but a great tool. Lastly, in terms of networking with alumni, I'm also really, really excited to announce today that we will be launching a monthly series of online speed networking events. That means we can present an opportunity for alumni to connect with other alumni from around the world in an online environment. As I mentioned, we're constantly having in-person networking events in cities all over the globe, but we have a lot of alumni who, quite frankly, just can't make it to an in-person event, and this will allow people to network from anywhere they like. They can do it in their pajamas if they want to. We did a test event. Many of you, I'm sure, participated in it last October, and it was incredibly successful. We had 854 alumni register, I think from 35 countries around the world, and people really, really got a lot out of it. Basically, it matches you for an 8 or 10-minute networking session in a one-to-one chat. There are also different types of events that we'll be able to do that are a little bit less traditional just from that one-to-one. We'll be able to do small groups. We'll be able to do alumni to student networking and mentoring, that sort of thing. So keep your eyes posted for announcements about that, but I can tell you that we will be launching the online speed networking events in March of this year, and we're really, really excited. And Christy, thank you for mentioning here in the Q&A box that it sounds like you participated in the online networking event and you said it was great. So I'm really glad to hear that. So those are, again, I think this is really where BU can really make an impact in the lives of alumni in terms of how you can develop your career. And that's by creating this strong BU network. Any questions about any of the tools that I just talked about? And while I give a few seconds for questions to come in, I want to say something about networking. We hear a lot from alumni that other alumni just don't know how to network appropriately. And this is really, really true for some of the young alumni that might be on the call today and the young alumni that we have out there. And so I want to make sure, as you're looking to build your BU network, make sure that you're prepared to do it. And I want to share a couple tips. My suggestion for you is really, when you're networking with somebody, make it all about them. It's maybe not a funny analogy, but it's, I think, apt to say that networking is a little bit like dating, that people want to get to know you a little bit before they ask you to get married. And so if you're looking to network with somebody, the first thing out of your mouth can't be, do you know of any jobs? I would recommend that you really do it from I see that you work for this really interesting organization, or I see from your LinkedIn profile or your Career Advisory Network profile that you've had a really interesting career. I'd like to hear a little bit more about your experience. Can we get together for a cup of coffee? Get to know this person. Again, make sure that you're asking good questions, that you've done your homework, that you're learning as much about an organization that you can, that you're not asking them to do the work for you, so that when you finally are able to get that person on the phone or sit down at a table for a cup of coffee with that person, you have smart, thoughtful questions you can ask them. And then just make sure that you're staying in touch. Alumni, I can tell you, they're going to feel really, really good that they have an opportunity to share their experience with you and know that maybe it's going to make a difference in your life. And so maybe you're a little bit nervous about making a cold call. But again, if you're contacting a BU alum and you've had that shared experience of having attended the same institution, I think you're going to find that they're eager to help you. You just need to make it a little bit easier for them to do that. So that being said, any questions about networking or any of the tools that I just talked about? Okay, awesome. Well, let's keep going. Lastly, I want to highlight a couple tools that we have to help you find an open job. The number one thing that we have to offer BU alumni is called BU Career Link. This is our online jobs board where we can show you positions that are being advertised just for Boston University current students and alumni. And so I'll show you how to access that in just a minute. Again, I just showed you the Boston University Alumni LinkedIn group. That's a great place to go for open positions. Similarly, again, online, and I can't recommend highly enough, if you're not a Twitter user, I'd say create yourself a Twitter account, because we've created something, a hashtag. And for those of you who might not be aware, a hashtag is a term you can use to search for specific types of posts. And so we have, for the last 6 months or so, been asking alumni via social media. This works both on Twitter and on Facebook, but primarily I think on Twitter. We're using the hashtag HireBU, where we're asking alumni to post jobs using that tag, so that you can easily go onto Twitter or on Facebook and see where another alum might have posted that a position is open. And then, of course, we do have our fair share of career events. I'll show you a little bit more about where you can find, in addition to events on our alumni calendar, other types of career events that you can find on the web. So with that, I want to show you the career link. Okay, so first you're going to want to go to, certainly you can go to our website to access this as well. Let me pull that back up for you. So again, go to bu.edu/alumni/careers, click on Career Development Resources, scroll down to the bottom, and you'll see BU Career Link. If you've already created your login, it'll be very easy to get in. If you are an alum, you will have to request an account from the Center for Career Development, but it takes a matter of hours for them to get you permission. Again, this is for the BU community only, so they do have to verify your status as an alum. Once you get to the site, you can log in now. This is going to remember my login information, and then I'm in. Perhaps many of you have accessed this system before, and I think I am not ruining any secrets to say that the layout was terrible, and so I'm glad that the company that provides this tool for us recently did an upgrade to their system, and I think that you'll find it a little bit more easier to use. So your main menu is over on the left-hand side here, and I think the number one thing that you're going to want to look at is jobs. So click on that expander, and you'll see there's a couple different places. CSM, I'm not quite sure what CSM means, but that'll be the main place to click on for jobs that are posted just for the Boston University alumni and student community. As you can see, as of today, there are 3,166 open positions posted in this system, and these will be from everything from education to management to technology. You'll see these things here. Now, a word about this. A lot of our employers are looking to hire recent graduates. And so you'll find that many of these positions are maybe more for recent graduates or current students with a couple years of experience. But I guarantee you that if you look long enough, you will also find things that are targeted for more experienced alumni. We end up with a lot of alumni who've taken a break from the workforce, either to raise families or, take care of parents. Uh, you'll see things that are very well suited for you as well. So again, like anything else, you are able to use some different search functions to narrow this down. You don't just have to scroll through to look. You can, by clicking on advanced search here on the right, can use some different parameters. And again, I'll use that example if you're looking for, financial services jobs in Boston. If you're specifically looking for anything from Fidelity, you can use some of these search filters to find those things. I should also mention that within this system, once you have access to it, you can log in and upload a resume and apply for many of these positions right through the system. And so you can keep track of everything that you've applied for through the menu for your job applications. But the other thing that I wanted to highlight is something called NACE Link Network Jobs. Now, Boston University is a member of the National Association of Colleges and Employers. And so this is a network of schools across the US and around the globe who also are now sharing positions that are open within that network. And so you'll notice there are just tons and tons and tons. And if you look over on the right-hand side, you can see that there are 1.8 postings for jobs in the United States, and then it lists off countries around the world. So this will be another great resource for finding those open positions. Again, we talked already about LinkedIn as another place to find open positions. And then I also wanted to mention specific career events that you are welcome to attend. And again, I'll go back to the Center for Career Development's webpage. And again, this is in addition to what we might already be doing as the Alumni Association. You're also welcome as an alum to attend many of the workshops and career fairs that are being hosted by the Center for Career Development. I generally go right down to their calendar, which you can find all the way at the bottom of the screen. Just click on calendar, and it'll bring up a list of everything that's coming up over the next couple months. Again, workshops, open houses with specific employers. And I would encourage you to, if it doesn't specifically say, let's see here. Bank of America is hosting an information session tomorrow at 5:30. If it doesn't specifically say in the posting whether or not it's open to alumni, I might encourage you to call the Center for Career Development or contact them through their whatever means they're listed on their website, just to make sure that the employer is interested in alumni as well and not just current students. But again, this is just another great section of our website, or the CCD's website, where you can find out about events. They are starting to dive in more to online events as well, for those of you who maybe can't come back to campus. But I can't recommend the CCD highly enough, and that goes for some of our school and college-based resources and centers as well. I'm going to go back to my slide deck here really quickly, make sure that I covered everything. Oh, and I forgot to mention specifically on February 11th, the Center for Career Development is hosting their annual spring career fair. And I say spring in quotations because, as we all know, if you're in Boston in February, it doesn't feel anything like spring. And we are going to have a ton of workshops coming up in March that you should definitely make note of. We'll be doing that as part of our Alumni Career Week series for 2016. Many of you will remember that last year in March, we had 1 week of career events. We did 13 events, both online and in cities around the country. It was so successful that we're blowing it out to the entire month of March. We are going to have something in the near 40 different career events during the month in cities around the globe, places like San Francisco, New York, Washington, D.C., Beijing, Shanghai, and some other really amazing places. And then tons of webinars. We'll launch our online networking events. And so I really want to encourage you to check out the series. And you can do that on our website. Again, you can see the full list of events that have been confirmed at bu.edu/alumni/career weeks. So that's pretty much it. Again, today was designed to be just an introduction, and I know that a lot of you will want to go back to our website and explore some of these. Sean has asked a question, will I be sending a follow-up document with links that you've mentioned today? I am not planning on sharing out a document for everybody. If it's something that you're interested in, you see my email address listed on the screen in front of you. That's jtmurphy@bu.edu. Go ahead and let me know if you'd like a copy of the slide deck. This webinar is also being recorded and will be made available on our website as we went over. So I want to make sure to get you the info that you're interested in. Any other questions that I can answer for folks today? So Lauren has asked a question. Thank you, Lauren, about the EverTrue Alumni app. And I just need to expand this so I can make sure that I can read your question fully. So Laura's question is, do you have suggestions for how we might use the EverTrue Alumni app? Once we look at alumni who work in our area, is there a way to reach out to them through the app? Lauren, that's a great question. I am 90% certain that you can contact them directly through the app, but if you can't, I would then take that information and go back to our online directory where you will be able to see what contact information they've made available. But I'll be honest with you, LinkedIn is going to be a much better bet for you. So once you've identified an alum that works at a company that you're interested in, just LinkedIn is just more updated and current. You know, a lot of alumni don't necessarily think to update their contact information or employer information with BU first, but they certainly do it on their LinkedIn profile. Lauren, once you've tried to find somebody through the app, if you run into any problems with that, definitely just send me an email and let me know. Rupa has asked a question, will you go over what you presented about BU as a member of Boston schools? Rupa, I think you might be talking about the NACE link jobs that are posted on CareerLink. Long story short, any higher education institutions that are members of NACE also share a jobs board that you can access through CareerLink. And so there were 1.8 million jobs that were posted for members of the National Association of colleges and employers. Got another question. Can I kindly state again how to contact a career coach for an alum that has graduated several years ago? You're talking about some of the counselors that are available at the Center for Career Development. My advice would be to go to their website first at bu.edu/careers with an S on the end, and then you can contact them through the means listed on their website. I also know that you can just go ahead and give the Center for Career Development a call at 617-353-3590. And then for specific school and college counselors and staff for some of the, I mentioned some of the places that have their own career center inside the school or college, I would just recommend going to the school's website. So, if you wanted to contact somebody at the School of Public Health, going to bu.edu/sph and navigating from there. The other part about that was I had indicated that for the Central Center for Career Development, if you've graduated within the last 2 years, the full slew of their one-on-one counseling appointments are available for free, but there is a small fee of $25 for anybody who graduated more than 2 years ago. Any other questions? Last chance. A couple of you are chatting in just to say thank you, and the pleasure's mine. Obviously, we really are dedicated to making sure that you're successful and have access to the kind of tools that will help. So it's really actually making my day to see that that this has been helpful. Amy's just asked a really great question. She's trying to register for CareerLink, but it says that she first has to sign up for an alumni email. Yes, so basically what you're going to want to do, Amy, is go to the alumni website and make sure that you've created your alumni account. And then once that's the case, you can use your BU email, your alumni email, to register for CareerLink. Let me know if you continue to have trouble with that, because for some folks, if you graduated a couple of years ago, you might not already have created a BU alumni email address, and I can definitely help you through that. Elizabeth has asked, can we just email alumni@BU to get our alumni email address? No, unfortunately, you're going to have to do a little bit on your end to, again, we need to make sure that you are in fact an alum, and so you'll need to log into the online community. Elizabeth, you should find that the folks who run that alumni.bu alumni@bu.edu email address will definitely help you through that process. But again, I'm definitely available to help try to facilitate that. Amy, yes, the process does have quite a few steps to it, but the reason is we want to make sure that it's alumni only who are accessing some of these resources. And in order to verify identity, there is a little bit of a step, a little bit of a process to create some access to these things. But once you've got your account, my hope is that you'll find it fairly easy to navigate. Rupa's asked a question, how do I recommend introducing yourself as an alum at an event that is meant for current students and grads? Rupa, so I think, okay, you graduated 10 years ago. Long story short, you're interested in attending events that maybe are intended for a younger audience or for recent grads. I think, in today's world, and believe me, in my work with the Center for Career Development and some of our other events that, might be students or recent graduates, I think people have an appreciation that BU is a place that alumni should be able to lean on for career support, whether you're 21 or 71. And so, how do I recommend that you introduce yourself? Just saying a little bit about your experience, what kind of work that you've done, and, what kind of, experiences you're looking to have now. And I would encourage you, if you've got questions about that, that's a great thing to talk to one of the trained career counselors at the CCD about how to answer some of those tough questions that maybe as an older alum don't feel quite as comfortable. Carl has asked, the fee to use career service is a one-time or a recurring fee. So for an individual one-on-one appointment, they'll charge you that $25 fee. And I think that, the CCD and their counselors are pretty sensitive to the finances around that. And so I think, if you're somebody who has a quick question, they're not going to charge you for that time. But if you are somebody who really feels like you want to sit down for a detailed 40-minute long individual session, they might reserve the right to charge you for that time. I think, you'll find one session as an introduction on navigating some of the resources that we talked about today. Carl, I think that you'll see that they're not going to be billing you for every minute of their time. Okay, other questions? Jenna. Jenna asked to join the Boston University Alumni LinkedIn group and found that we were closed for winter break. Jenna, thanks for pointing that out. We did change our standard greeting for folks while we did close for vacation. Thank you for letting me know. I'll make sure that we get that corrected. Some great questions, folks. Thanks for chatting in here. I'm happy to stick around for a few more minutes if anything else comes up. But again, for those of you who want to dive a little bit deeper, you're definitely welcome to shoot me an email. I'm hoping that I don't get overwhelmed this afternoon, but I'll try to get back to everybody as soon as I can. Let me know if you do want a copy of the slides. I'll be happy to email you something. And again, this will be posted on our on-demand webinar library. So thanks everybody for participating. I hope you plan to join us for some of our upcoming career events, and again that you'll take a look at the schedule for this Alumni Career Week series from March of 2016. I'm really excited about it. You can sign up for many of those events now on our website, and you can go to bu.edu/alumni or bu.edu/alumni career weeks for those events that are taking place in March. And as always, if you or any BU alumni, alumnus or alumna would be interested in presenting a webinar for the BU Alumni Association, feel free to contact me directly at the Alumni Relations Office or by the email address that you see on the screen in front of you. Thank you, everybody, for your time. I hope you have a great day or a great evening wherever you might be. Take care.